video, I'm going to talk about determining the difference between paraphrasing and summarizing. The applicable TEKS or Texas standards are 5D in high school and 6D in middle school. The applicable Common Core standards are RL2 and RI2. Paraphrasing and summarizing are important tools in writing because they allow you to include other people's ideas without cluttering up an assignment with quotations. In order to determine the difference between paraphrasing and summarizing, first students need to understand the definition of each. To paraphrase means to express someone else's ideas in your own language. It is explaining what a certain idea means using your own words. To summarize, on the other hand, means to condense to the most essential points of someone else's work. It is condensing someone else's most important points using your own words. The similarity between the two that is in both, you use your own words. The difference between the two is that paraphrasing includes main points and details and can be as long or longer than the original text. Summarizing includes using only the main points and is much shorter than the original. Let's cover paraphrasing first. The benefits of paraphrasing is that it is your own rendition of essential information and ideas expressed by someone else presented in a new form. It's a legitimate way to borrow from a source. It's a more detailed restatement than a summary, which focuses concisely on a single main idea. It's a way to help control the temptation to quote too much. It's a way to help you grasp the full meaning of the original text. Let's look at an example of paraphrasing. I'm going to use the Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. If you'd like a copy of the text example to follow along with my analysis, pause this video and download it from my website, authorspurposeexpert.com. Take a few minutes to read the original speech, which was given in 1863 in the middle of the Civil War. To paraphrase what Lincoln was saying, 87 years ago, America fought a great war to gain independence from Britain. As a result, the country's leaders created the Declaration of Independence, which emphasized equality among men. The North and South are now engaged in a civil war, with the North fighting for the equality of all men or the freedom of slaves, which the Declaration of Independence previously claimed. We are gathered here on a battlefield of that war to dedicate it as a cemetery for all the men who died fighting this battle. It's important that we do this to honor the great sacrifice of these men. No matter how much we attempt to bless this battlefield as a cemetery, the men who fought in the war have blessed it much more than we possibly could. Regardless of what this speech says, it is the actions of the men that will be remembered. If we truly want to honor the men who died so that their death wasn't for nothing, we need to continue fighting for the freedom of all men. If we continue to fight, with the grace of God, we will forever be the democratic nation dedicated to the freedom of all men. What I did was to use my own words to express the same thing that Abraham Lincoln was expressing. Notice that I didn't use any quotes from the speech. I paraphrased it without using Abraham Lincoln's words, which were much more formal and eloquent. Now let's talk about summary. The benefits of summarizing is that it is your own rendition of essential information and ideas expressed by someone else, presented in a new form. It's a legitimate way to borrow from a source. It's a more concise way to present information while focusing only on the most important parts. It's a way to weed out the extra information or details to focus on only the most important parts. If we again use the Gettysburg Address, my summary would be as follows. After the Battle of Gettysburg, so many men died on the field that they had to make the battleground a cemetery. President Lincoln made a short, heartfelt speech honoring the soldiers who fought and died there. His goal was to alleviate the pain of the grieving wives, mothers, daughters, and sons while encouraging the men to keep fighting. Lincoln reminded the American citizens of why they broke away from England, to gain their confidence. Although extremely short, this successful speech became one of the most famous in history. Notice that I used my own words to get across the main point of the Gettysburg Address without repeating the details of the speech or using any of Lincoln's original words. I summarized the most important things that I wanted my readers to know, which was the overall purpose of the speech. So now you see the difference between paraphrasing, using your own words to present the same information, and summarizing, using your own words to present only the main points. By using a short common speech such as the Gettysburg Address, you can easily show students the difference between paraphrase and summary. If you'd like higher level thinking questions to go with this speech, as well as other activities, you can find them at my store on Teachers Pay Teachers, Karen Rohach, Author's Purpose Expert. You can also find many other stories and poems which will help you teach students the difference between paraphrasing and summarizing, as well as covering all the reading standards. Thank you for watching this video, and remember, just keep practicing and you too can become an Author's Purpose expert.